Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. This episode is about the Chicago Bears versus the Oakland Raiders in London. And let me see, is Josh Jacobs better than we thought he was? Is Chase Daniel better than Mitch Trubisky? Is David Montgomery maybe a little bit worse than we thought he was? We're going to talk about all that today on the Fantasy Football Fallout. Okay, everybody, let's start with the Bears. First of all, if you watch my Against the Spread picks this week, thankfully I had a good week. I'm not going to toot my own horn here because I had an awful weeks 3 and weeks 4. But I liked this matchup for Oakland. I thought Oakland was primed to upset the Bears for a number of reasons. More so because I thought that Jon Gruden, not the recently fired Jay Gruden. I thought Jon Gruden would have a nice game plan and be able to exploit some things in this super strong Chicago defense. And I don't think that the Chicago offense is good enough to basically clean up for the Chicago defense when they're not at their peak. But let me start with Chicago. So I theorized that possibly Chase Daniel might be the better quarterback today, not long-term, but today than Mitch Trubisky. I take that all back. Chase Daniel, and this game was out there for Chicago to win. They probably should have won the game. But Chase Daniel, man, 2 really bad interceptions, I think. He got the 2 touchdowns. I called that correctly in my analytics. Also in my touchdown prediction video, I was big on Allen Robinson this week, if you watched that, and that ended up being correct as well. So, for everybody that follows me for daily fantasy, we got that one. I thought Tarik Cohen, at some point this team has to start running the ball more with Tarik Cohen. 4 rushes a game. You need to get him more involved. David Montgomery, everybody came into the season, and I know his draft position, right? I know he was drafted early. I know that this system wants a good kind of running back, a one-cut running back that can be dynamic there. David Montgomery was never it for me, and I'm gonna give you a little anecdote, a little story. Years ago, because I've been playing fantasy for a long time, there's this running back, and I was in a keeper league, so it was basically a rookies-only draft, and running backs obviously went super early, especially back in like the early 2000s. Well, the Carolina Panthers drafted a running back named, I think his name was Eric Shelton, drafted him in the 2nd round, and I got him in my fantasy draft. I was thinking, oh my gosh, he's going to be the guy. Well, I watched him in preseason. He throws up like a 2 yards per carry average, run per carry, and I'm just like, well, he'll get the opportunity. It's only preseason, who cares? And then his entire career, he was basically that running back. When I watch, and I always watch all this stuff, right? I watch the games, and my favorite rookie running back coming out of this year, by the way, was Devin Singletary, and I still feel that way. When he gets healthy in Buffalo, you'll see why. Look at his stat line for like the 10 carries he had. It's incredible. But David Montgomery, what I had the issue with is that when he gets the ball, he was almost like, he tries to juke a little bit too much. He's a little shifty and maybe a little too much shift. You want a little shift, but not too much shift. And so he gets the ball and he's always, doing this. And in the NFL, dude, you need to get the ball. You need to put your foot in the ground. You need to get up. And you can be shifty once you get to that second level and do your jukes then. You want to be trying to juke a defensive tackle who's bearing in on you because there's another defensive back tackle who's trying to bear in on you and a middle linebacker who's trying to. You need to get through that first line. So I never really liked David Montgomery. Now, did the offense give him opportunities? Yes. But I also had the misfortune of having Jordan Howard last year in this system, and I think Jordan Howard's a really good running back, and he couldn't get it going in this system. Tarik Cohen, to me, from that experience and watching David Montgomery this year, Tarik Cohen is the juice that this running game needs. But I know that head coach Nagy there, he wants to basically, he's Cohen is a small guy. He doesn't want to keep give him a ton of carries, but I think you got to give this dude 10 carries a game. I think you got to give him 10 targets a game. I think you have to treat him like maybe a lighter version. Literally a lighter version of Christian McCaffrey. You have to get him more involved to open some things up for this offense. Now, in the passing game, honestly, this was about how I thought it would go. I did think if Gabrial was going to play, that he was going to get in the end zone, but he didn't play. So what does that mean? Anthony Miller got more targets than he had been getting all season. That's not a surprise. 7 targets, 4 receptions. I don't think that's a trend though. Obviously, Allen Robinson is the better of these quarterbacks. As Chase Daniel plays, I think Allen Robinson's value goes up. So daily fantasy people, or if you're looking for like a short-term trade target, I like Allen Robinson moving forward. Trey Burton, fantasy-wise, has been a disappointment ever since he's been there. Chicago needs a better tight end. Just a personnel-wise, as great as they are on defense, they're just lacking on offense. They need to support their quarterback, their young quarterback, Trubisky there. They need to get a tight end who can create more separation. And maybe the issue is that Trubisky needs to get him the ball, but I don't think that's the case. Trey Burton needs more than 4 targets, or whoever that tight end is. You need to support this passing game, with more runs. You need to feature Cohen. I'm sorry, I know he's small, but you need to do it. He's electric. You need to get him the ball. And David Montgomery, he can be your short yardage guy. I'm sorry, I don't think he's an upgrade over Jordan Howard. I think he's overrated. Now let's talk about the Raiders. I liked Gruden for a couple reasons. One, I know that Gruden studied a lot of film on the Bears prior to their Week 1 matchup against the Denver Broncos, because the prior defensive coordinator for the Bears is now the head coach of the Broncos. So I know that Gruden put in a lot of time studying this defense, and they did pretty well against Fangio in Denver. Now, it's different to go against the Denver defense and the Raiders defense, but I thought that they were going to be able to I thought that they were going to commit to the run no matter what. And this is one thing that I love about Jon Gruden, is he will commit to the run. Even if he's only getting like 2 yards per carry, he will commit to it. And I look at Jacobs. He had the best running day against the Bears this season. 26 carries, 123 yards, 4.7 yards per carry, and 2 touchdowns. And what happened is, for the 4th time out of 5 games, Oakland came out as the stronger team. Chicago, they didn't have energy, but it's a London game. I don't hold that against them. I traveled for work internationally a lot, and there have been times where I've been over in Europe for 2 weeks for work, and I didn't sleep more than 3 hours a night, because jet lag is real, people. It's a real thing. That's why I don't bet London games. You never know who can sleep and who can't. Seriously, it's a huge deal. But Chicago's defense came out a little bit flat. Oakland always starts the game strong. If you're a bettor, always take the Raiders to cover the first half lines. They're fantastic all season long. And they jumped up on Chicago early, and Chicago's not the kind of team that can really come back if they're down by 2 touchdowns early. This defense needs to run this organization for them until they can get some more talent on offense. But, Josh Jacobs, that commitment to the run, 4.7 yards per carry, frankly, I didn't see that coming. I did think that Jacobs was going to get in the end zone. The touchdown predictor had that. I didn't think it was going to be twice. I actually thought one of these touchdowns was going to go to Darren Waller, and he didn't get in. Darren Waller only had 4 catches on 5 targets for 39 yards. I had the targets and the receptions right, but I thought that Waller was going to get in the end zone this week. Usually I'm really, really pretty laser focused and in on those tight end projections. Got that one wrong. Yeah, it happens. If I was perfect on every single projection, I wouldn't be doing these podcasts. I'd be playing daily fantasy more and, from a yacht somewhere and a satellite phone or something. But Fabian Moreau is looking better as a tight end as well. Look at this guy. He's 4 receptions on 5 targets. Or is it Foster Moreau? I always get Fabian and Foster confused. 4 receptions, 5 targets, 46 yards. This is the second week that he's kind of popped. But I still think Waller, I don't think it's a concern or anything. This offense just likes to use tight ends. And remember, Gruden, I knew he wanted to work the run and the short to intermediate pass game against this Chicago defense. That's the game plan that you have to follow against this Chicago defense, and he ran it well. You have, goodness, I'm looking through. Not really a lot. You had Keelan Doss, 2 targets, 2 receptions. Hunter Renfrow, 5 catches on 1 target. You had Davis, 4 receptions on 4 targets. Tyrell Williams out. Really, it was all about the run game. Oakland starts strong. The offense can stand up to a strong defense, especially early. I like what this Raiders team is doing, man. I think they're underrated. I think people were sleeping on them. I hated them before the season because I thought Antonio Brown was going to be part of this franchise and a distraction all season long. I'm not the biggest Jon Gruden fan in today's NFL, but I got to say I'm eating crow this year. I can admit when I'm wrong, and the way that this Raiders team starts the games outside of the Minnesota game in Minnesota, they just come out on fire. I mean, there's got to be something to Gruden firing these guys up, or maybe it's the captains in the locker room, but they come out with energy every single game. Well, I guess, 4 out of 5. But that's why I say if you're a bettor, bet on Oakland to cover the first half line because they're just fantastic. They put it on the Bears. I'm not going to overreact if I'm the Bears. There were opportunities there, but sometimes things happen. If this game was in Oakland instead of London, maybe the Bears come out and win this game. Maybe it was jet lag. I don't know. But, credit the Raiders, man. They came out, and I'm not surprised by it either. I did take them in my picks. So there you go. There's another episode of the Fantasy Football Fallout. Please follow us and also check out the Touchdown Predictor video, which I'm going to be releasing the next day or so on this channel. Subscribe to the channel, and you'll get it. We're releasing new content daily at this point, and we're working in some of the other podcasts. So it's a really cool thing. It's special. It's growing. Help us grow, too. Watch some videos, subscribe, like, comment. comment. I'll be interactive as well, and catch you on another episode.